Hello everyone. Today's episode is about the tutorial is about how to make a tubular bead crochet rope like this. This is a bead crochet rope or a tubular bead crochet with 8 beads. Okay, so as you can see here, there are 8 beads in this. Let me take out something to point. Here you can see, if I'm starting with the yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's a gold one there. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is a tubular bead crochet rope with 8 beads circumference. So when there are 8 beads, we call it a 8 bead rope, or the circumference of this rope is 8 beads. Now earlier I have made a tubular crochet rope with 6 beads, and I have used much bigger beads to show you how to begin a tubular bead crochet. So upon request from other beaders who wanted to know if it is possible to learn how to do tubular bead crochet with size 8 or size 11 beads, I am making this video. It is possible to make, but it takes a lot of effort, patience, and learning to get to this point where you can successfully make a tube. Okay, see, this is the beginning, and this is the first bead where I have started. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is one here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8 beads in the beginning, and I have continued. Now this one, yeah, I'm going to, not every time when I want to make something tubular bead crochet which has got 8 beads, I'm not going to be starting every time like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this as a starter rope. So this is a point from where we can start off other ropes. So what we will do is we will be starting our new rope or the new bead crochet, tubular bead crochet, from this point. We will crochet upwards, and then when you are done with a few, say supposing a 1 or 2 inches, then we will separate both of them, and then this will become the mother rope which you can use again, and then we can continue. So I have a lot of videos showing you how to start a bead crochet project using a starter rope, and but this episode is about how to start a bead crochet rope without a starter rope, but just with only the beads. So let's get started then. To make the bead crochet rope with the 8 bead circumference, here I have laid out 8 different colors of size 8 seed beads. So usually to make a starter rope, or even for beginners, I would recommend that you use a size 8 seed bead, because it is bigger and easier for you to manage when you are a beginner. And even when you're making a starter rope, this is an ideal choice of bead, because you don't have to struggle with small beads for making a starter rope. And if you want to know what is a starter rope, I have videos for you for that. So I will put the link for that in the description box, and you can look into that and follow the method of using a starter rope. And then to thread the beads onto the thread, I have got a big eye needle, and then I've also got thread here which is cotton thread, and this is size 20. Okay, so this is the thread that fits the whole of these beads, so that is why I've chosen this thread. So it's important that you don't take a thinner thread than this, because your beads may slip. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to thread on the use a big eye needle and thread it on. And now, because this is a practice piece, and this is also a starter rope, and this is also a tutorial for a beginner who is going to learn how to bead crochet. So this will be a complete tutorial and explanation in detail of all of them. So once you have laid out the different colors of beads, so it's important that each of them are a different color, only then it will be easy for you to make the bead crochet rope. So that is why I would recommend that. So start with uh, any color, but here whatever I've laid out, I'm going in that order. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so here I have 8 beads here. So this 8, you will keep on repeating these 8 for a certain length. So it could be, I will tell you once I finish how many inches I made, so that you will know. You can stop there, or as much as you thread on the beads, you can keep practicing that many times. So the hardest part always I feel is the threading on the beads onto the thread, because this takes a long time, and also if it is a pattern, you will have to be very careful about adding the beads in the correct order. So that takes a pretty long time. But since this is just a multiple of colors and it is in the order that I have laid out, it is going to be easy. So you see like this. So each set will begin here, go all around like this, and then again you'll go around like that. So you keep doing that for a certain length, and then I'll get back to you on how to start the bead crochet rope. I have now put on the beads in the order that I had showed you, and the total length of the beads alone, from the beginning to the last one I've added, is about 16 inches. Okay, so this is size 8 beads, and and the bead length that I've added is 16 inches. So I'll show you the calculations of how many inches of crochet rope that we will get. Okay, so this is size 8 beads. That means this is the circumference. So sorry, this is size 8 beads. Okay, and the circumference means the number of beads per row. That's going to be 8 beads. Okay, so there is no significant there is no connection between this 8 and this 8, because this is just size 8 beads, and the circumference of the rope that I'm going to make is 8 beads per row. Okay, so with 8 beads per row, now if I want to get 2 inches of the crochet rope, so my requirement is 2 inches, just to show you for the sample. Or if I'm making for a starter rope, if I'm going to make a 2-inch rope, how many what's the length of the beads that I should add? So for that we have to multiply the circumference and with our requirement, that is 2 inches. So 8 times 2 is 16 inches. Okay, so if I put on beads for 16 inches on my thread, I will get a 2-inch rope. So let us see if this calculation works out. So this is to show you how to calculate the length of the rope that we need. Okay, so this is what I have done now. Size 8 beads and 8 bead circumference, and the beads I have put on for 16 inches here. And you can see the thread is still on the spool, and this is the place where we are going to begin. So it is still on the needle. So to begin, I'm just going to have to take out the needle and bring in my crochet hook. Okay, so let's set aside the needle, and then we can start making our rope. Okay, to make the rope, first I would suggest that whatever is the circumference of the rope, so keep only those beads in the working area. That means I will show you what is the meaning of the working area. Let me get my needle. The one suitable for this will be, okay, the hook, I can either use 1.75 mm, or I can even use the 2 mm. but I think I will use this one for this. Either ways, both works, but I am going to choose one of them. That's all, because my hook has two sides, so that's why I have a choice. Otherwise, you can use either 1.75 mm or 2 mm. We always begin by making a slip knot. So just wind, so you can just wind it around your finger like this. Put your hook inside, make an X like this, put your hook inside and grab the thread, and here you got a slip knot. Okay, tighten this on your needle. So let me zoom in a little now. Okay, like I told you, keep only the 8 beads that we need for the first round. So let all the others fall, all the others are here. I'm going to keep only these 8 in the place where I'm going to be beginning to work now. First we will do a chain stitch. So take one bead and make a chain. Again bring down one more bead and make a chain. So I assume that those who are attempting bead crochet already are familiar with crochet, and they are comfortable using the crochet hook and the thread. So that so it will be easy for those who already know how to crochet. So that is my point. So bring down each bead at a time and make your chain stitches. So that this is a little loose. I think I'll go back and set it properly. And just tighten that up a little bit. See, hold this in tension, this tension has to be there. So you see, I'm winding up in my fingers like this to keep it nice and tight. Four, five, six, seven, and 8. Once we have completed all the 8 beads, what I'm going to do is I'm going to join this together to make it into a circle. So to make it into a circle, what I should do is I'm just going to make a slip knot. You see the first bead here, so insert your needle under the first bead like this, and see the first bead is to the left. You just take your thread out of both the loops like this to make it into a circle. So now we have made the first row. So keep your tail at the bottom, and this must be tight like this. Now the next step is insert your needle again under the same bead. See this one, insert your needle under the same bead, see in this space like this, and at this time now push this bead to the other side of the needle like this. After you've pushed the bead, hold it like this, bring your thread around the bead like this, and this is the position when you're ready to bring in the new bead now. Okay, see, this is the position. At this time I want you to bring the next set of 6 beads that you are working, and see, hold it tight like this, nice and tight. Okay, now what you should understand here is, you see this bead that you are going to start working on now, and the bead which is on the working area are the same colors. If both of them are the same colors, then your work is correct. If you use the same color bead when you are a beginner, you will there are many chances that you might be doing the wrong bead and the wrong position. So I would highly always recommend that you use multiple color beads when you are a beginner. So when you know that this bead and this bead are the same color, you're sure that your work is going in the right direction. So hold this position like this. See, my finger also holds it little like this, just to give it a little support. Bring down this bead, and this is the position where you're ready to make your slip stitch. So grab this thread and bring it out of both these loops. Now after the first one, we are ready to do under the second one. So insert your needle under the second bead. It's a little tricky in the beginning, I agree, but once you are done about 1 or 2 rows, then you will be comfortable. Okay, see, insert your needle under the green bead and then push your bead to the right of the crochet hook. After you do that, just hold this a little bit with your finger like this and bring the thread around the bead like this. After you do, see, this is the position, and now you're ready to bring down the new bead. See, you see both of them are green color. That means you are in the right place. So when you have brought down the new bead, just grab the thread and make the slip stitch. That means bring your needle out of both the loops there. Next, now don't worry about all the mess that is happening down there. It looked like a mess, but we are doing the correct stitches. So after a couple of rows, your work will be clear to you. Again, insert your needle under the orange or the next bead, push it to the right. At the same time, take this thread and bring it around it. So this position, orange bead here, orange bead here. Bring it down and make the slip stitch. Next, this green bead here, push it to the right, thread around the bead, slip stitch. Next, the gold bead, bead to the right, thread around the bead like this. Excuse me. See the gold and the gold bead? That's the right thing. Next, see, we have 3 more beads left here. because I told you to keep them separately, because so you will know when you are finishing a row. Again, insert it under the bead, pass it to the right side, bring it around like this, and the next one, see, is yellow here. So even if it looks like I've lost my place, you can understand that this is the next bead that we have to work, because the yellow bead is here on the working area also. So pass your needle under the yellow now, push your bead to the right, thread around the bead, okay, bring down the yellow bead and make the slip stitch. Okay, so now here we have completed 2 rows. So work doesn't look much, but then at least when you look down here, you can see the color beads, one sitting on top of the other. Okay, the beginning is always a little bit crazy, so that is why I have in all my videos I talk about using a starter rope to begin a crochet, bead crochet rope. So this is how you begin the starter rope. And in my earlier video, I have shown you about making a starter rope with a much bigger bead and a much thicker thread, uh, which is very easy to make. But there are some people, viewers, who have asked me, uh, is it only possible to start a bead crochet rope with big beads and with very thick thread? No, that is not the case. You can do it with any size beads. So now, for instance, I am using size 8 bead. You can even start a crochet rope with size 11 bead. But the struggle for everyone who are beginners in bead crochet rope is very real. So I recommend that you start with using bigger beads than this to practice. And once you have practiced and you want to make starter ropes, that is, make a sample rope of each size and keep it to use it as a starting point for making further ropes, I would recommend that you use bigger beads and in different colors like this, so that you can start a rope easily. So now let's get back here. So after this, now you see, and if you're not sure which is the next bead that you have to work on to, you have to look at the bead here. See, the bead that is coming down here is the same one as the one that you see here. So now you know that this is the place where you have to work your next stitch. So that's why I told you to keep it different colors. If you keep it same color, you know, in all this mess, if you drop this and pick it up, you'll lose your place, and it's going to be a really big task for you to find out where you stopped and how to go continue the work. So now insert your needle under the next bead like this, bead to the right, thread around it, and make sure that you push the thread that you push the bead right down like that, and then we will make the slip stitch like this. Okay, now I can see it's the green bead that I have to work, and I can also see that there is a green bead here. So that's the place where I need to, I will insert my needle under the green bead there, push it to the right, bring the thread around and hold this with my finger tightly, bring the new bead down and slip stitch. The orange bead, you can see there is orange in the working area also, so that's the next one I have to work. Thread around, you push it nicely towards the side like this and bring down this bead, orange one, and make your stitch. See, at all times if you notice that this thread of mine, I'm really holding it very tight, and I'm also keeping only 8 beads at a time here, so that helps, certainly helps. I mean, if you are crocheting already, you will know how to hold the thread tightly, but if you are a beginner, then you have to pay attention to that, or you must practice a little bit until you get the tension. Okay, so this is a wrong move. I brought my bead down too early, so after this I have to push the bead to the right side of the needle and bring the thread like this, and after that I must bring down the green bead and make the slip stitch. Next, under this gold one, push the bead to the side, thread around, hold it tightly like this. So instead of struggling to make this starting each time you are beginning a project, that's why I have shown the method of using a starter rope for making your work much more easier. So a starter rope means you make a sample rope with the number of beads that you want, say like 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever. Make a rope and keep it handy, and with that, like, you make about 2 inches of the rope and keep it, so that will become the starting point for you for making your next project, which is going to be easy. So instead of struggling to make the starting like this each time, see, because this is multiple color, it is in different colors, so it's easy for you to even start this rope. But if it was a pattern, or if it was of a single color, it is going to be very difficult to even achieve this much progress. If you even for a experienced crochet person or a beader also. So that is why I say, once you make a sample rope, which I call as a starter rope, you can make this and keep it and use it whenever you want to make other 8 bead circumference crochet ropes. See, this is my wrong move again. Instead of moving the bead to the right and bringing the thread around, I brought my bead around too quickly. This is yellow, and we are done. Okay, now so far I was showing you a stitch which had multiple moves to that. So from now I'm going to show you a stitch which is going to be just one move, and you will complete the stitch with that. See, that move is, see, instead of inserting your needle, like I told you, under the bead, I've been telling you, put it under the bead like this in the space here. Okay, I've been telling you to do that. So exactly, you're going to do the same thing even now, but now see this working thread here. If you can see the working thread, how it is moving, see, it's coming towards me, and the green bead has moved to the right side. So in this position, you insert your needle under the green bead. You can see here my needle is under the green bead, and my green bead, the working is on the right side, my working thread is on the needle. So this is only one move. When you do this, you just bring down the new bead and you make the slip stitch. Once again, So this one is, now let me take a few beads here so it will be easy for you. Okay, now this must also be tight, and you hold your work in your hand like this. Keep everything tight. Now you look at this working thread, look at this thread. When I'm holding like this and I'm bringing the thread to the other towards me, okay, I am bringing the thread towards me. At the same time I am inserting the needle to the left of the orange bead. Okay, see here, towards the left. When I do that, you also see that my working thread is on the needle. See, the orange bead has gone to the right and my working thread is on the top like this, and this is the position that we should aim for before bringing down the new bead. So bring down the bead, make the slip stitch. Once again, look at the working thread. See, when I do this, you can see the working thread. See, it's here now, right? It is on the other side of green. So very gently I'm moving it like this, and at the same time I am inserting my needle to the right side of the green bead. See, under this here like this. So this is just one move and you can do the slip stitch. Once again, watch out how this thread moves when I'm working. When I do this, see, the thread comes to the other side of the bead, right? So at that time, insert your hook under the to the left of the bead, and you are in a position to bring down the bead now. And slip stitch. Watch my working thread. This is the working thread. See, when I do this, when I turn it, it turns a little bit, and then it puts the gray bead on the other side of the thread, right? Or you could even do like this also. See, you are, even if you are not sure, it's difficult for you to find your place to insert your hook. Insert your hook to the left of the bead that you have to work now. See, this is the space. See, this is the space that you should aim for. You have to insert your hook there. So when you insert your hook there, you can see that this thread automatically comes to the other side. So push that bead to the right and make your slip stitch. Once again, you watch the movement of the bead and the thread. See, when I do this, you can see my working thread. See it, I'm holding like this. When I turn it a little bit like this, what happens is the working thread comes towards me, and I am now ready to put my needle under the bead here. Again, take a look at the way my thread works. See, as I move it a little bit, you can see the thread which was on this side of yellow. As I turn my work a little bit, it comes to this side, and now I find my place to put the needle, that is under to the left of the yellow bead, and make my slip stitch. Once again, See here in this position, you can see clearly visible to me is the gray bead. Okay, so it's very easy for me to go under this one and forget about the bead that I'm actually supposed to work into. So how I came to know was because you see here I saw there was a golden bead, but here there is a gray color bead. So now then I knew that there was something was wrong, and what happened actually was, see, this golden color bead is actually sitting a little bit inside here, not very visible, so I could have really missed it if there was no color coding while practicing. And even when you are making a pattern, sometimes this can happen, some beads can just get lost in between and we may miss it out, and then we may continue. When we do like that, a pattern will never come out in the way it was intended to be, and when we realize it, it might be like 3 or 4 rows away, so you will have to pull out your work and do it again. Otherwise, after a certain time, you have to just keep your work like this, flat like this, and check out if you have got that number of beads as you have. So say, because this is a 8 bead crochet rope, every time I have to make sure that there are 8 beads. When I look at it in this position, in a flat position, all 8 must be visible, then it means it's right. So instead of making 2 moves like I showed you in the beginning, you can continue to just make just one move like this. But this takes a little bit of practice, I agree, but this is the easiest way that I know, which works for me, and I hope it works for you too. So once you get the stitches in place, it is really very addictive because it's quite a easy stitch. It's just a slip stitch. Once you know the movement of the bead and how it works, it's quite easy and very very addictive. But the only problem is the beginning. So if you can begin a rope and keep it as a starter rope, then it's going to be a really really game changer for you. And if you don't know what is a starter rope, I will put a link for using a starter rope, so you will understand what we mean by a starter rope. So instead of going through this trouble of uh, beginning a rope, what we do is we make a sample or ready-made rope of different circumferences and keep it like 2 inches or 3 inches of each rope and keep it. And when we want to make our next project, we start off from there. So if I tell you in words, it might not be easy for you to understand. So I wish you see my videos where I am using a starter rope to do all my bead crochet work. See, this is a bit of a work. You can see my fingers because I'm really pressing hard against the beads to do this. See, this is how. This is a 8 bead rope. but you see the beginning will be like this. It has to be nice and flat. It's fairly flat because I have a little experience in this making these ropes, but for everyone you may not get such a good beginning also. But if you're a beginner, sorry, not for everyone. Again, you see in this place also, you can see that the golden bead is like quite sitting inside, and I would have easily missed it had I not known that there was a gold bead here in my working thread. I guess something is wrong here. Let me go back and check what's wrong. No, I'm good. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm putting my needle to the left of the bead there. Yeah. Here I have completed all the 16 inches of the beads that I had put on, and see, this is the result, and this is where I have just stopped working because there's no more beads on this one. So let me check the length of the rope that I have got for using 16 inches of size 8 beads. Okay, so here we go. Just place it at the edge, and then you can see that it is like a little over than 2 inches, or I guess, if you know, if I just really, oh my, I lost my tape down here. Okay, so it's just about a little bit more than 2 inches. So this is the result of using 16 inches of size 8 beads. I've got 2 inches of rope. Now what am I going to do with this one? So because we are going to be using this as a starter rope, I'm just going to leave this as it is. I'm not going to do any finishing. In other circumstances, when we are going to finish this rope, what we do is we are just going to be making slip stitches all around without the beads. Okay, slip stitches without the beads, I mean like this. Just let me get this. Bead always tends to be hidden there, so what I do is, see, do it like this and just slip stitch. That's what you would do if you are not going to do an invisible join bangle, or if you are not going to uh, use this as a starter rope. We are just, so this is what we are going to do. We'll end it by making just slip stitches without adding beads like this. Okay, but now because I need this for a different purpose, I am not going to do that. So I'm going to just remove those stitches that I made, and I'll get back my loop. So this is where I stopped. Okay, as you can see, there will be 8 beads here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. This is 4 here, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Okay, now what we do is, in order to use this as a starter rope, I just have to pull this out. No making, you are not going to make any other knots or anything else. Just pull it out and cut it. Take that out, and this will be just left like this. Okay, now for ease of purpose, what we have to do is, we can just even hold it, we can just hold it like this here, and put a tape or something to hold it together. So using this, I'm going to next show you how to use this and start another rope. And see, this is my beginning. Yeah, we're supposed to get 8 proper beads here. This is supposed to be lying flat, but this is the maximum that I can achieve. But this will be solved if we are going to use a starter rope. If we use a starter rope, our beginnings will not be like that. That also will be nice and flat like this. So I'll catch you in another episode. Thank you so much for watching, and also for your continued appreciation of my work. And if please do share it with any other beaders who might be interested in this. And I appreciate all your good comments, and thank you so much for your time.